especially for the young women in the group, I want to say that we now talk a great deal about feminism and the rights of women and minorities. And it's useful to know about those things. I, for instance, didn't know about the discrimination against women. I just wasn't thinking about it because I was in girls' schools or women's schools most of my life. And it never occurred to me that I couldn't do anything that boys could do. I knew that obviously there were some differences about family and children and the responsibilities that come from that for a woman in particular. But it was only when I was in my postdoctoral years that I realized that things were not always equal for men and women. I think that that was in the 1960s and 1970s, and certainly in the United States a great deal has changed for women. For the better, I must say. However, not everything is perfect yet, and we have to realize that there is still a pay differential between women and male professionals doing the same job with the same amount of experience. It has changed from over 30% in pay differences to now, which is less than 25%. Now, given that, we have to work very hard to ensure that as women we recognize that there are some disadvantages and that we also still have the major responsibility in the house. How do you manage all that together with a profession that you have chosen, which is as demanding as any profession, which will take a great deal of your time? I think that the important way of dealing with that, first of all, is to find a husband who is supportive of what you want to do. That's absolutely essential. It's also important to recognize that you can't do it all and that you must learn to delegate responsibilities. Very early on, after I had my first child, my mother-in-law, rather than encouraging me to have more children, said, I think that, you know, with the busy jobs that both of you have, one child is really enough. And then she suggested you must get a good housekeeper. And don't think of a housekeeper as coming from 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Think of them as coming at 2 in the afternoon or at 3 in the afternoon, doing child care, especially for after school, and then being able to cook dinner and to be helpful to you. Meanwhile, after dinner is done, they can just leave, and you still have the privacy of your home. That was probably the best suggestion that I ever received, because it allowed me to put almost 100% of my working time into my own work, and then whenever I had free time for personal interactions, I was able to have quality interactions with both my husband and my daughter.